Hi everybody, I'm Charlie, and this is On Air, my Beatles collection. Today I was kind of going through the stuff that I have here, and I didn't have this specific topic in mind, but as I went through various parts of my collection, I realized how many copies of the Red and Blue album that I have. And that includes the fact that I cannot find the original black vinyl from when it was first released. I guess that would have been 1973. So I still have a lot of Red and Blue albums, so I'll show you what I do have. There's another exception that I'll explain when I get to it, but for now I'll just leave it at that. So the first one I'll show you this is from France. As you can see, the French language there, and this is the red vinyl version. This would have been, I believe, 1978, probably. That seemed to be the year of all the color vinyl. I remember I also bought a white vinyl, white album, also from France, that same year. Here's the blue album. 1966 to 1970, of course, and there's the blue vinyl there. The next thing didn't come out until the age of the CD, and this is a box set. This is an aftermarket box. You can see how substantial it is, and there's a drawer in there. And there's also two booklets in there. I'm gonna slide it out the drawer. First of all, there's a certificate of authentication. This is box number 3,422 of 4,000, and that's the first thing you see in there. The next thing you see is little buttons, one for each album, of course, and then the two double CD sets. I don't recall if they came with the box or not. You know, these aftermarket boxes, sometimes they buy commercially available CDs and they put them in there. Other times you just get the box and there's a space for them, and it just looks more like this, where there's a tray that's cut out and you have to fill it yourself. I don't recall which was the case here. And of course, it's your standard blue album CD package, the little booklet there, and the two CDs, one with the cut apple, and the other with the Granny Smith green. I did save the original hype sticker, so that tells me that I put them in here myself, because there wouldn't have been a hype sticker unless they were in here sealed with the hype sticker. I'm not exactly sure. So looking into the side of the box, that tray slid in here, but there's also two booklets. So there's a booklet for each one. Show you that in a minute. So there's the 1962 to 66 booklet. As you can see, it's nice, glossy. There's the back side of that. All the pictures are black and white. There's no color pictures. Oh, actually, there's a few color pictures. I shouldn't say that. I'm not sure who that is. If you know who that is in that picture with Paul, I should know, but I don't. So, I'm curious that it's the first page too. So of course these pictures on pages go back historically to the early days. This looks like Ringo with a new haircut for his Beatle job with that hasn't actually grown in properly yet. Here's the boys again. Another publicity shot. More. See if I can find the color shots. Well, here's the poster for the Beatles and Jerry and the Pacemakers. And they were at the New Brighton Tower for one night only, Friday, June 14th. I would assume that was June 14th, 1963. And so that's the only color picture. This picture, I know, is at the Deauville Hotel in Florida when they came to be on the Ed Sullivan Show. That was the second show, was from there. Here's Paul and John looking at some American records. I see Paul's got a Bob Dylan album there. What else is in there? So that's the Freewheelin'. Oh, he's got a Benny King album in the top of the pile below that. Of course, as we all know, the Beatles were fascinated with American artists, particularly American R&B artists. Not that Dylan was an R&B artist, but Benny King certainly was. Here's another picture from Miami. So, there they are with Ed Sullivan himself. And that is also in Miami when they were rehearsing for and taping for the second appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. Here's one with Mal in the background. Paul smoking a cigarette. Anyway, that's from the 62 to 66 period. And here's the 67 to 70. Almost a different group at that point. And there's the back cover. And this, like the other book, is mostly black and white pictures, but starts off with a color one. That's, of course, from Magical Mystery Tour, I believe. No, or that would have actually been from the filming of Strawberry Fields Forever. Sorry. There's Paul on a horse. There's the boys. Great picture of Paul there. And John. From the taping, the broadcast, the worldwide broadcast of All You Need Is Love. There we got a blue meanie. And let's see. There's a nice shot of George. There's Paul and John. I think that's Yoko in between. That's Yoko there. Anyway, that's that book. That's definitely John and Yoko there. George Martin up top there. Oh no, sorry, that's not George Martin. It looked like him on the screen here. Anyway. Abbey Road. Anyway, so that's the book. So there's the two books and the tray, the drawer, and the certificate, and all of that, as I said before, all of that went in this box. The books here, the tray here. It was nice to have. I do have other copies of the red and blue CDs, but those, apparently I bought those separately so I could put them in there. Many years later, I bought a box, a blue box with a gold print on the outside that looks a lot like the classic BC 13 set of albums, only this one is a limited edition from Japan from the Cine Club, and it is only compilation albums. And so, since we're talking about the red and blue, here is the red. This is actually from I think it's probably 2014. I'm not certain. Maybe earlier. It doesn't have a date on it anywhere. I haven't checked the disc itself. But anyway, this is. See, is it up here? No. Well, it actually says 95-1-26, so maybe it's 1995. So this is yet another copy that I have of the red and the blue. Here is the blue, of course, the matching one. So all albums that were considered compilations, that would include the Hollywood Bowl, that would include love songs, that would include rock and roll music. They're in that box set that I was talking about. Magical Mystery Tour is actually in there too, not the album, the double EP. Not sure why, that's not a compilation, but it is in there. And then in 2020, let's see, what year is this? This is 2014. This was another reissue from 2014. This is analog tracks, analog masters from the original master tapes. So again, this is not the updated one from a few years ago. This is the original outer sleeve with the hype sticker on it. I just slid the whole thing down in there, and then of course there is the blue one from the same period from 2014. Still going. There's more red and blue. This one I've shown on a separate video with other similar box sets called the Real Alternate album. This has a lenticular cover, which doesn't move, but it is a lenticular cover. And this has 4 albums, 4 LPs, vinyl, 2 CDs, and a DVD. The CD one is the alternate red album. CD 2 is the red album mono. And DVD is the red video album. On the vinyl version of all that is, disc 1 is the alternate red album. So it's all the songs that are on the red album, but it also is alternate versions. So that's disc 1 and 2. Disc 3 and 4 of the vinyl are the red album, the original red album in mono. So there's 4 sides of the original red album in mono. So that's what the back looks like. I'm gonna show you the contents here. This is, I love these real alternate boxes. So it starts with a card that looks pretty much like the album cover, only it does open up, and it has what would have been the inside of the vinyl album, the original folder from the album. And then the next thing you see in there is a tray of 2 CDs and 1 DVD. This being the DVD down here, and that has the videos. And then you see the albums. And first one you see is this vinyl. And the next one is this vinyl. Nice, pretty color vinyl. And the next one you see is red. So they didn't go with all red on these, like you might have expected. They're all different colors. There's one more. That's this one. It's purple with a lot of marbling in it. So that is the red album, the real alternate red album. And so the lead story here, besides getting the original album in mono on color vinyl or on CD, is getting the alternate tracks of the album. So as I said before, if you look at the card here, this would be, you know, 2 LPs that are the alternate red album. So those are the songs, and they're all alternate takes of that album. So put that back together. Put the cover back on that. And of course, there's a blue version of that as well. Show you the sticker this time. So this one is 5 LPs. You might remember that it took a little more. There's a lot more length of music on the blue album than there is on the red. A lot of people said originally the red could have been on 1 CD, but they made it a double CD to match the double blue CD. So here it's 5 albums, 3 CDs, and 1 DVD. And so that's the sticker. I didn't mention it on the other one. There's only 400 of these. So this is number 74 of 400. Let's go back to the other one since I forgot to show you. This is also number 74 of 400. And that's the sticker for this one. All right. So in this case, what you have is, you have the alternate blue album that goes across 2.5 discs, 2.5 LPs. And then you got the mono version of the original blue album that goes across 2.5 more LPs. And so that's what gets you to 5. And then you got the 3 CDs and the DVD. So let's open that box up. Again, I'll show you the back there. Let's open that box up. Again, there's the card that looks just like the album cover, except you got the inside. And again, the card with the CDs and the DVD on there. And then you have the color vinyl. So this one is kind of almost an olive color, tan, olive, something like that. And there's a nice green one. And no, I'm not touching the grooves. I usually put my gloves on for this, but that's a nice kind of a powder blue. Again, like with the other one, they could have went all blue because it's the blue album, but it's multicolor. This one has really lovely marbling in it. You see that down there? Really nice one. These sound great too, by the way. And it's great to have the alternate tracks too. Some of these popped up. Some of these alternate tracks popped up on the anthology as well. I've never done a match to try to match which ones are on there. This is the 5th LP. As you can see, this is purple, but it also has very pretty and very purpley color. So that is the contents of the blue 1967 to 60 to 70. Again, lenticular cover. Again, it doesn't move when you move. I noticed on the John Lennon Power to the People box set that has that's advertised the lenticular cover. In their case, if you move it, it goes from John to Yoko. He morphs from one to the other. This doesn't move, but it is a lenticular cover in the in a sense. It's just not. Sorry, I just hit the camera. It doesn't show an alternate view when you move it, but it is that kind of a plastic slab that they refer to as a lenticular cover. It looks like it ought to be 3D, but it doesn't actually do anything. So that's not the end of it, of course. That's some of the red and blue. And here's the part where I told you I would tell you later the rest of the story. This, of course, is the one from 2 years ago. Or, yeah, is it 2 years now? This is the black vinyl. And so missing from this pile in front of me is the color vinyl. So I got two of these. I got the black vinyl and I got the color vinyl. And I have one in each of my homes. So I'm at my summer home now, and I'll be at my winter home soon. And I wanted to listen to it. And so I just, as opposed to just, streaming it, I wanted to actually listen to it. This I've not opened. This is still still sealed. So this is the black vinyl. And of course, this one has Now and Then on it, and it has a bunch of additional tracks, and it has the I Am the Walrus that everybody hates, and so on. But it's still a great set. Sounds good. It has the Giles Martin remix to it, which some of that turns out very good, and some of it, it's not what the fans would do if they had the ability. But anyway, that is my red and blue set, multiple sets. As I said, the color vinyl version of the new one is at my other home, and I cannot locate the original black vinyl that we all bought when it first came out back in the early 70s. So that's a mystery that I haven't solved yet. There's a lot of stuff to look through. I am pretty organized, and I thought for sure that I would put my hands on that immediately, but I have not. So anyway, I wanted to show you some of the wide variety of red and blue stuff that I have. Of course, next in the next couple of months, or if it hasn't happened already, the anthology story will grow similar to this one, and there'll be a bunch of stuff that came out in 1995 and 1996, followed by a bunch of stuff that came out in 2025. So we'll be talking about that in another video as well. So that's it for today for the red and blue album collection. I have other versions of the CDs that I didn't show you, but they're the same as the ones in the box. And I have a couple of missing in action vinyl. So anyway, that's it for my red and blue collection. And I'll be moving on to other topics now. So thanks for stopping by. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. And if you're not yet a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. If you have any comments or questions, or anything you want to tell me, anything I got wrong, whatever, put that in the comments. And hey, I had a Facebook page, a Facebook group called My Beatles Collection. My Beatles Collection. This is on air, My Beatles Collection, the YouTube channel, but my Facebook group is My Beatles Collection. We have over 5,000 members over there. It is a private group, so you have to answer a few questions. But once you do, I'll be happy to have you come in and share your collection in there. I post things almost every day, one piece at a time from my collection. I also post the links from this YouTube channel. When I post a new video on YouTube, I also post a link in the Facebook page. So if you miss it in one place, you might see it in the other, and you get a direct link into the YouTube. And as I said, I've got over 5,000 members there. So you're welcome to post your own stuff. Not so much videos, but just a picture. If you have something unusual, or you have a box set, you want to show what it looks like on the outside and the inside, you can post a half a dozen pictures or whatever. So if you're interested, go over to Facebook and check that out. And if it seems like something you want to participate in, My Beatles Collection is your Beatles collection. So we'll all share, and we'll all learn what else is out there. Because as we all know, there is so much out there, you'll never have it all, and you'll never even see it all. but it helps when you have friends, 5,000 or more friends that are willing to share what they have. There are members from all around the world. Actually, I'm U.S. based, but the U.S. membership is fairly small relative to all the other countries in the world that are represented by the group members. So it's multilingual. There's people of all languages and all different countries and different ethnicities from all over the world. And the one thing we all have in common, maybe we have other things in common, but one thing we know for sure we have in common is our love for the Beatles. So that's what they're there to share, and they enjoy seeing your collection, and you'll enjoy seeing theirs. So come on over there too, and please come back here and check out some of the other videos. I try to just show things that I have. There are things that I have that people have never seen. There are things that they've seen, maybe the box, but they never saw what was inside. And, there's rarities, and then there's other stuff that, like the red and blue, it's not particularly rare, but, I have enough of it that hopefully some of it, whether it's the real alternate boxes or that CD box that I showed you, maybe there's something here today that you haven't seen before. So I take pleasure in that, and if you do, please like the video, and if you don't, please move on to the next video, and hopefully you'll see something in one of the others that appeals. So anyway, thanks again for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Bye.